Hey guys, it's Julia, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 reads of 2018. So 2018 is officially over, which means it is time for me to talk about my favorite reads of 2018. I will not be talking about my least favorite reads of 2018 because I'm kind of taking a new approach to my channel where I don't really want to talk negatively about books and things that I didn't like because everybody's opinion is different. So anyway, I want to be giving more of a positive message when it comes to my channel. So I will only be talking about the books that I enjoyed the most in 2018. We're going to start this one off with Lifelike by Jay Kristoff. Obviously, this was an auto pickup for me. Like, I had to pick it up as soon as I heard that this was a thing. I had to get it because it's Jay Kristoff, and he is an auto buy author for me, so I had to pick it up. And I didn't even know what it was about when I first got it, but I knew I was gonna love it because I love everything Jay Kristoff, and so I read it. I loved it. If you don't know what this one's about, it is about all of a sudden can destroy things with her mind, and she discovers this android boy named Ezekiel, and they kind of go on this like mission to kind of figure out like why she can like read minds all of a sudden, and she had lost her memory and she's slowly gaining it back, and there's all this crazy stuff that happens. It's kind of like this sci-fi dystopian book of wonderfulness, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because it was awesome. I loved the characters in it. I loved the relationships in it. Alright, next we have Damsel, which you guys have heard me talk about already a lot because it is one of my favorite reads that I read in 2018, and this one is freaking awesome. It's about this girl who basically gets saved by this prince, and the prince is kind of like, I guess, I don't know if this is the right word to use, but oppressing her and making her feel like she has no option but to become his queen, and she has no rights. She cannot decide anything for herself. There are some triggers in this book, though, that are like rape, and so if that triggers you, definitely don't read it because there is that in there and it is a little bit disturbing. But if you can look past that, then this book was incredible. It is basically a girl rising to power and being like, fuck you guys, like I don't care what you say. I'm not gonna just listen to whatever you say, even though that is what every girl before me has done and what I'm supposed to be doing in order to live. And basically her only job, they tell her that her only job is to be the queen, have sex with the king, produce an heir, and then she's gonna die when her son finds his damsel. So obviously that doesn't sound very appeasing. Like, who wants to do that? Bruh, no. So the writing in this was really special. I really loved the writing. It was really beautiful. I can't stress enough. I think that this would have to be my favorite as far as the writing in a book. Like, if a book has writing that really just makes me feel like all good and giddy inside, like that is like my kryptonite. I cannot handle a book that has amazing writing in it. Like, it makes my head want to explode. I love it so much. Like, in a good way though. Like, my head exploded in a good way, not a bad way. Because it is so beautiful and wonderful, and it just makes me have the warm feely tinglies inside. And I love this book. I adored it. I actually included it in the October bookie box because I loved it so much. Next is not going to come as a surprise. It is the third book in the Three Dark Crown series by Kendar Blake, and this book was so good. This was my favorite out of all of the books so far, which generally doesn't happen for me. Usually I like the first book the best and they slowly decline throughout the series, but this book was incredible. Absolutely my favorite of the series. There was so much going on in it, so much that I couldn't guess what was going to happen, and I loved it. If you guys haven't picked up the series, pick it up because you won't regret it. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. Legendary. This is another one where I enjoyed the sequel way more than the first book, which is crazy because I really loved Carball. It was one of my favorite books of last year in 2017 that I read, and Legendary is definitely my top favorite reads of 2018. Like, I can't even. It was better than the first book. I didn't think it was possible, but it was, and I strongly recommend this to anybody, even if you've already read Carball and you didn't like it, because this is telling the story, the perspective of Tella, who is Scarlett's sister, And there was so much happening. I love a story where you cannot guess what's gonna happen. This had that element. I could not guess what was gonna happen. I loved it. I hate when I can tell what's gonna happen. That drives me crazy, which is one of the reasons why I've been having so much trouble with YA lately, is because I feel like I can guess everything that's gonna happen. Like, I feel like there's this template that everybody follows, and so you can guess, always guess what's gonna happen. But then you get these books like this one, where crazy shit is happening, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? And you're like, yes, bitch, give me more. So there's that one. And the last one is my favorite read of the last couple years. I cannot stress enough how much I love this book. And it was actually in the latest bookie box that I released, the November bookie box. And that is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Love this book. This is the first time I've ever read Brandon Sanderson. I talked about this in my last video. My currently reading or currently have read. I'll put it up here somewhere. Anyway, so I've talked about this book already and what it's about, but I loved this book so much. It has made me want to read all of the Brandon Sandersons I can get my hands on. He is probably, even just from this book, like, I don't know if I can actually like judge or say that he's one of my favorite authors because I've only read one book by him. But I love this, and I would have to say he's one of my top authors that I've read this year, along with this book being my favorite book that I read this year. So 5 out of 5 stars. I read this chunker in like 2 days. Granted, I was on a road trip to Y'all Fest when I read it, so yeah, it was, I had a lot of time to read it. But I loved it so much. There was so much happening. The cover of this, amazing. The book, amazing. There's something that gets me about these big, like, bulky, weird letters. Like, they're so pretty. And the gold on the Skyward is so pretty. And I did want to mention that I got from my Secret Santa a signed copy of Skyward, which is freaking amazing. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And I can't even get over it. She sent me a signed version of Skyward. She sent me a book sleeve, and she sent me a bunch of really cool tattoos that she made, which is super cool, super freaking cool. We did a Secret Santa for all the book boxes in our little group of book boxes where we all talk and exchange ideas and stuff, and I just love those girls so much. And so yeah, I loved the gift that I got. It was so cool and so right up my alley because this was my favorite book. And I wasn't actually able to get signed book plates for the bookie box for this box because the author is such a big author and you had to request it like way in advance before I even knew this book was coming out. So I wasn't able to get signed book plates, so I was really disappointed about that. But I got a signed version of Skyward, so I'm not as disappointed in that. Anyway, so that is really it for my top 5 books of 2018. I would love to hear about your top favorite books of 2018 and what you read and even what you didn't like. If you want to share, that's totally up to you. But yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye!